So today I was going through a bunch of boxes in my office, and I came across a box that had a bunch of my old watches. Now, back in the 90s, I had like a lot of analog wristwatches, just, you know, junky, goofy, you know, cheap ones, nothing really great. But this one is actually kind of interesting. That noise you hear in the background is Cooper knocking down boxes in the back. As you can see, I mean, this is the band, and it's so brittle that it breaks into pieces like that. But the watch itself, that cat is so bad. The watch itself is a Casio. It's an FTP-10, and it's kind of unique. It's got this analog clock face on it, but then you can pop it open, and it's got a little calculator inside. So I'm going to take this thing apart and see if I can take the battery out and replace. It's actually got two batteries. It's got one for the watch movement and then one for the calculator, and see if I can get it working again. So let's see what we got here. Okay, so the back of the watch movement is held on with four little Phillips head screws here. So let's take those out here real quick. Try not to lose them. Oops. Oh, come on. Okay, so those screws are loose. Now, in theory, this should just pop right off here. Oh, yeah, it does. Okay. And so there's our battery. And hang on, let me see if I can get another screwdriver here to pop that out. Oops, try not to damage the actual watch movement here by prying on this too much. Okay, so we get the battery out, and let's see if I can. There's zero chance I can read this. I'm going to have to use a magnifying glass to see what that is. But so we got the watch battery out now, and you can see that there's a gasket on here that gives the semblance of waterproofing, but I don't think I'd really trust that at this point. So alright, so let me see if I can pop the back off of this guy here, and you can see that this is not, this actually doesn't have screws on it. It's just kind of a clamp fit on here, and I may have to take the bars off for this thing to get at it, to actually pop that out of there. But oh yeah, you can see how decayed that is. It's just 2 decades plus of rotting plastic. But let me see here if I can get in here and pop this guy loose. It feels like it wants to go. But again, like I say, I'm worried that because this is so old that the plastic is going to be really brittle. And I don't want to damage the frame of this watch. I mean, not that it has any value as far as I can tell, but it'd be neat to get it working again. Okay. I can get a fingernail under there. Hang on a second. I'm going to take this off camera and see if I can get that loose, and then we'll come back to it. Okay, I was able to use a slightly larger screwdriver to get that back popped off there. Let's see if I can get the rest of the way off here. And again, it has an ancient rubber gasket on it for water resistance. And then here's the battery for the calculator part. Let's see what that is. Let's see if I can pop that out of here. Come on. That one I may actually have. Let me go through my battery collection here and see if I've got one that'll actually work to replace this, so we can see at least if the calculator module still works. Okay, so I was able to take a magnifying glass to them, and the smaller one is a 364, and then this larger one that goes in the calculator part is an SR1116W. Now, I had a battery that's slightly too large, but it does work. So we can see here, the calculator part still works. So this is probably, you know, assuming that I can get the movement to get to work properly, this is totally restorable. So I'm really kind of pumped about this. This is pretty cool. So I'm going to order up some batteries, and then once I get the right size batteries for this, I'm going to try and put it all together and see if we can get it to run. Alright, so we're back. It's about a week later. Got the batteries for the watch movement here. And of course, you know, it doesn't make any sense to buy them one at a time, so I got 5 of those. And then thanks to a shipping screw-up from Amazon, not only do I have 5 batteries for the calculator part, I have another, actually 20. So, if anybody needs this type of battery, just let me know, and, you know, I'll throw a stamp on it and throw it in the mail to you. So anyway, let's get one of these batteries out here and see if our watch movement actually still works. So let me just pop one of these out. And of course, you know, they're tiny and easy to lose, so please bear with me here. I had a little bit of trouble getting this in there. Alright. So, bump the camera there, that's always good. Oops. I'm also wearing new glasses today, so hopefully I can see things a little bit better. Okay. So that battery feels like it's in place. Look at that! Look at that! Ha! The second hand is moving. It actually works. Oh, this is so awesome. Alright, let's see if I can set the time on this thing. Let's see here. Pull the stem out, and it's, let's see here. It is .407, 408, okay. And there's really nothing fancy about this movement. It's literally just hours, minutes, and seconds. There's no date on here or anything like that. So that's fantastic. Alright, so the watch part works just fine. I'll have to check and make sure that it's actually keeping good time, but that's very encouraging. Alright, so let's get the back on here. Now, when I took this thing apart, I actually managed to lose one of the screws, and then I thought, well shoot, now we're never going to know whether ants can be trained to sort tiny screws in space. But fortunately, again, Amazon comes to the rescue, and I got myself all sorts of little metric screws. There's actually 2 things here, and I had the right size. So let's grab that guy right there. So I've got 4 screws to put this thing back together. So let's drop this gasket back into place where it belongs. And this is going to be kind of fiddly because it wants to go kind of in a groove and kind of not. That's okay. So that's where that wants to be. Alright, now this needs to go like that. So let's put that on there very carefully. Okay. Now I need about another 3 hands here. So let's see if I can do this. That's on there. Okay. Got that screw started. This process is actually going better than I hoped, which of course means that I just jinxed it by saying that, but we'll see here. So there's 2 screws started. And again, I'm sorry about this not being autofocused or anything like that. In the spirit of this 90s calculator watch, I'm using a very, very old Canon point and shoot. And that's why this is in 640 by 480. I've had this thing forever. It's been very reliable, and probably one of the better $150 buys back in the early 2000s. Alright, so now I'm going to tighten these down. I'll do it side to side here so as to put even pressure on that gasket and tighten it up to 150 foot-pounds. That's a joke. Okay. And there is our 4th screw. And yes, everything is still running. Seems like it's keeping time. Alright, let's take the back off of this thing. Oops. Oh, that doesn't want to click. Let's see here. I may have to adjust this a little bit, because you can see that right here there's a there's like a notch that engages this part right here, which is a little, let me get that back into frame here, which is a little wonky. So, okay, hang on just a second. I'm going to pause here and see if this is actually supposed to be, I think it is. This is supposed to be secured by that part up there. Okay, so I got to take this back apart. I'll be back with you in just a second once I got this back together. Okay, as you can see, just a few brief minutes have elapsed, and I got this little clip part here back where it belongs, so now this actually clicks like it's supposed to and pops open like it's supposed to. So that's all fixed. Now I'm going to take the back off of this and replace the battery with the correct size one in the calculator module. Now we know from before that the calculator module actually works, so this should just be a slam dunk here. Again, jinxing it by saying that. So let me get the back off here. I'm trying to remember how I did it last time. It's been a week. I can't possibly remember that far back. Let's see here. And again, I'm trying to be as careful as I can be with this, because this is all fairly old and brittle plastic. I don't think anybody expected this to last for 30 years. So, okay, so that's open. And again, this has, you can see, has a gasket on there. And this is just a, literally just a clip fit on there. So, let me get one of these other batteries out of this pack. Okay. We'll slip this in here. And it goes underneath that guy right there like that. Okay. And then this is, okay. I probably want to put this gasket in here first before I try and clip the back on. Just because there's not a groove in the back, there's a groove in the casing that will kind of locate it a little bit better here. Okay. Hopefully, that's the theory at least. And again, I don't have any illusions about this being really waterproof or sweat-proof at this point, because we're so far down the line, and all of this has been, you know, just dry rotting for 25-30 years. Okay. So now this, let's see, which way does this go on here? I'm gonna guess that it goes this way. Okay, that clips on there. It's a nice tight fit. The movement is still going. Pop this open. Look at that, we got our calculator still working there. And even back in the day when I could like actually see things that are this small, this was not like a super easy calculator to use with your finger. I mean, it's possible, but you know, it's easier if you've got a stylus or something. Whoops. But really, all these calculator watches of this era were difficult to use because how small the keyboards were. So, you know, obviously that still works. I'm really happy about this. This turned out better than it really had any right to. So what I need to do now is find a band for it, and the crown on this, it's got a plastic crown and it's got some scuffs in it, so that'll probably need to be buffed out. But overall, this turned out really well. I'm very happy that I was able to get this working again and return it to service. So anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this, and you know, check out the other stuff on my channel. I got a lot of weird stuff. There's a wide variety of interesting different topics, and check out the Tech Weasel podcast for just random stuff that comes out of my brain every so often. So again, thanks for watching. Catch you next time.